What is going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in for today's review. We have a Fenwick Eagle rod that we're going to be bringing to you and showing you some of the specs and stuff. So if you're looking for an awesome spinning rod that has a lot of sensitivity and kind of has that throwback cork look to it, you know, I don't think you can go any better than a Fenwick rod. This thing is just kind of that throwback look into what I grew up around, smallmouth fishing. This was kind of the go-to look. And I know now we have all those dry tack grips and things like that. And those do look awesome, but guys, you can't beat that throwback look of this awesome looking cork. And guys, I have this paired up with a Lew's Custom Pro spinning reel. And this might be a little bit big of a reel for this rod. This is a 30 size or a 3000 series spinning reel. I would say for this rod, I would probably go down to a 20 size or a 2000 size reel. But that is because this is a 6-foot rod, and I did order a 7-foot rod, but Fenwick actually sent me a 6-foot version, which, you know, it kind of played out well because I'm going to be using this on a kayak and off of the banks and things like that. This is going to be a little bit shorter of a rod, and it might suit me pretty well, so I just ended up keeping it. All right, guys, if you like this kind of content, please stick around, hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new to the channel. We have a lot of different gear reviews that are coming at you just like this one. All right, guys, let's dive into this review. So starting up at the butt section of the rod here, we have a nice Fenwick logo, and this is like a rubberized piece up here, and then it has a nice little metal accent that says Fenwick on it. So nice little touch there, and then it has the darker set of cork here with some nice throwback looking cork here. And this is really sturdy. It is pretty solid. It's not a mushy type of cork like a lot of different budget rods have, and you are paying a better price for this. You know, I only paid 56 bucks for this one on Amazon, but Fenwick rods and the Eagles, they even range up to almost 100 bucks in some cases. Depending on what time you actually go out and purchase this could determine what type of price you're going to pay. All right, moving up to the reel seat. I love this reel seat. You can see right there, the rod is exposed on both sides right here, exposing that rod, and it just fits in the palm very nicely. You know, whether you're fishing it like this or even back here, it fits very well in all different configurations, and it just has a really light, sensitive touch to it. And this reel seat really aids in helping out with the sensitivity. All right, it has a nice tightening knob right here where you can tighten down that reel seat, and it is cork as well with a nice little metal accent right there to finish it off up here. And it just really adds to that comfort if you're fishing like this. You know, you're pinching it between your fingers. It's really comfortable. So that is one reason I love this rod so much. And then moving on up, the rod has that nice looking blue pattern to it. Fenwick logo there, the eagle. This thing is just looks really, really good. And it does have that blue pattern all the way up the length of the rod here. Now, when it comes to line guides, this thing has pretty standard line guides. I think these are aluminum oxide inserts, and they look really nice. They're kind of polished. You know, they're not going to pop out, and you know, they get the job done. They are a bigger insert. So in my case, you know, I fish braid on every single spinning rod I have, so that knot is going to slide through these line guides like butter. It's not going to have any issues like some of those micro guides actually have. All right, the hook keeper right here is in a good place. I don't like the hook keepers that are on down here. And with this solid cork handle, you know, they did put it up here, and that is awesome. I love a hook keeper that is right there. You can see this rattle trap that sits nice up here on that rod. Like I said, this is a 6-foot version. You know, I did order a 7-foot version of this rod. Fenwick actually sent me the wrong length rod. I would say the 7-foot medium power rod would probably feel a little bit better than this one. This one does feel like it's a little bit on the flimsy side of the medium power. And I think it's because, you know, it's just a shorter rod. It doesn't have some of the backbone that maybe a 7-foot rod would have. But this is a moderate fast action that it has. So it does bend a little bit further down, But like I said, it does feel a little bit on the flimsy side, but where this rod shines is if you're fishing a Ned rig or a drop shot or some type of presentation that really requires some of that sensitivity, this rod has it on lock. This thing is so sensitive that you can feel just about anything. If a bluegill's nibbling on it, guess what? You're gonna feel that little bite. This rod is that sensitive, and that's kind of because the reel seat and the sensitivity of the rod all plays a factor in that. You add that braid in on your spinning rod, and man, you have a combo that is gonna be very sensitive, and it's gonna be very easy to fish. So this Fenwick rod actually is a 24-ton carbon rod blank, which I was actually surprised to see on a rod of this quality. Typically your 24-ton series rod blanks are kind of found on your budget entry-level rods. And with this one being so sensitive, I was actually surprised because it didn't seem like a 24-ton rod blank, you know, that usually are very heavy. It's kind of hard to feel that bite when something does hit it. In not all cases it's like that, but this one actually is a 24-ton rod blank, which I kind of looked at it as a positive, where this thing is so sensitive when you're trying to detect fish. A 24-ton rod blank is going to be a little bit thicker walled rod, so that carbon is going to be a little bit thicker, which is going to add to that durability. And then in most cases it reduces the sensitivity, but not in this case. In this case, it fits the rod very well, and it's going to be a little bit more durable, I believe, in the long run. So that is a positive right there. That typically isn't a positive, but in this case it is. Okay, so we're gonna do some practice casts with this thing and show you exactly how it performs. And you can kind of hear the line going through the line guides here, just to give you a good indication of how well this thing actually casts. And I have a little bitty Ned rig tied on the end of this thing. So right there, casting light baits is one thing you're looking out for with a finesse style casting or finesse style spinning rod. And that thing sent it just about halfway across the river just now. Really have enough sensitivity to kind of feel what that Ned rig is doing. Even though this is a 6-foot rod, you still have enough backbone to really give you something to feel with. Thought we had a bite there. That'd been pretty cool on a test, right? Could really use this rod to pop those Ned rigs off the bottom. And you can let it sit there and you can really feel. I can hear how, and that's braid going through those line guides, and it's still relatively quiet. Let me move the camera. You can just see how far this thing goes, way across, not halfway out across the river there. And that's where this braid going through these line guides really help, because it reduces drag and you're able to make a further cast. All right guys, hopefully you like this review of the Fenwick Eagle spinning rod. And in my opinion, if you're looking for a very, very sensitive rod, this is gonna be just for you. If you're looking to throw Ned rigs, drop shots, things like that, that require that very high sensitivity rod, this is gonna be just for you. And I don't think you could go wrong with any length of this, you know, the 6-foot, the 6'6", or the 7-foot rod that they have. And I think they have a couple different ones as well. It's gonna suit you very, very well. And like I said, this is a 24-ton carbon rod blank, but it feels like that of an IM8 or a 30-ton rod blank. It very, very high sensitivity. So coupled that reel seat with the sensitivity of the rod, you have yourself a really good offering from Fenwick. All right guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you in those next videos guys. Keep it blue collar.